Nowadays, no, I think I've seen a lot of email addresses where people actually sign. They have
Mm.
a digital version of their signature on their email. I've signed using our platform so many times. A more creative person is able to easily lift my signature, your signature, from what's available out there, and use these multitude of tools to incorporate your signature on the document. Just because it looks like your signature doesn't mean it's your consent.
Really puts thought into what the document that yung mga importance ng mga documents. Like
Yeah,
for
of
my
course.
case, I've been processing some papers right now. And like l- um just tell me your thoughts about this po, no? Mahilig akong pag may nagsisend sa akin ng documents, and then because sobrang accessible nung e-signature ng sa Adobe PDF. So I'll just gumawa ako signature ko, and then I'll just put it there. Yung implication nun, attorney, na it's just there and then I send it back for whatever reason na magkaroon ng problema, that can cause me, I don't know, something legal na um grave ba, or I
No,
don't know.
not necessarily grave. And I really hope you never reach a
Yeah.
situation where we can consider it to be grave, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to educate our users and the economy in general that there are a lot of platforms that are able to do these things for you that essentially make it feel like you
Convenient,
manifested your
fast.
consent.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's not
correct.
always the case, right? So you want to make sure that the platform you're using um, adheres to the technological framework, the legal framework of whatever jurisdiction you're in. And here in the Philippines, there are a lot of things we have to consider, and there are a lot of measures that have to be taken into account. So, sure, with other platforms, you can put your signature, but there has to be an implied agreement that you will be using electronic signature platform, and then there has to be a way to attach your signature to that platform. It's not just simply putting it up there. Because nowadays, no, I think I've seen a lot of email addresses where people actually sign. They have
Mm.
a digital version of their signature on their email. I've signed using our platform so many times. A more creative person is able to easily lift my signature, your signature, from what's available out there, and use these multitude of tools to incorporate your signature on the document. Just because it looks like your signature doesn't mean it's your consent. So you have to
Mhm.
make sure the platform you're using not just affixes your signature onto the document, but you can be sure that one, it makes sure that there is your consent behind it. But importantly, the other person you're dealing with, the other person you're transacting, you want to be sure that okay, if they used, for example, if they used UNAWA and you receive a document signed by them, you can be all but certain that it's who they say to be are the ones who signed it. They did it free and willingly, as opposed to other ways of amending appending your signature. Like I can easily sign a piece of paper and take a picture and send it to you. You might think that's valid, but there are things you want to be more protective of.
To be honest, yung mga ganito, hindi ko parang ano lang ako. Sige, pirma ko na, balik ko sa'yo because I trust that person to um handle the document, because I
And that's good. It's
magkakila
good to have a sense of trust. Pero
correct, di ba?
you never know when that will be, ano, diba? When
Yeah.
it might not go the way you want it to go.
I had an experience also recently that I have this transaction in Canada that they sent me, like this was my first time to actually um hear about that platform. Hello Sign naman siya. So you mentioned yung kay RJ parang DocuSign, but ay kanina ni-research ko yung sa email ko. It was Hello Sign. So parang nakalagay din doon na parang legal something, na
Mm-hmm.
platform for your signature. And but that time hindi sabi ko, oh, sige, gamitin ko lang siya, since galing naman din siya sa abogado. So I think they did their research on, okay, sige, signin mo dito ka mag-sign instead of the usual PDF method that it's very convenient for na available. So I guess based from our conversation, like Ngayon bigla akong natakot, parang baka biglang ma-hack pala ako or something that gets my signature. And mahirap na when your signature gets stolen tapos biglang makita mo lang sa inbox mo na, hey, you signed this pala, something
Yeah,
na
that would
bigla,
suck talaga.
di ba? Yeah. So I guess it's a very nice I platform solution that is available for everyone, and it's very nice na it's not just for like corporates and or businesses, but also individuals, and mostly freelancers also can use the
Yeah,
platform.
for anyone. What we try to do at UNAWA is to really ensure the entire signing process. Because again, let's go back legally. It's very easy to manifest consent.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you ensure that you are amenable to the document, whether you put your fingerprint, you put your signature, initial, that's you manifesting consent. So between you and the party you're dealing with, it's an easy transaction to establish this level of consent. But you have to think a little bit beyond that. So, what happens in a year if should this document ever be called into question? What happens even further beyond that? Should the document ever be called into question? You need certain things to really prove what you otherwise would have been able to prove during a physical signing.
Mm-hmm.
Like prior to all the advent of all these digitized technologies, signing a document was one really two people coming together. That's why there are signing ceremonies.
Yeah.
Most people, it's a very formal engagement that
Yeah.
you'll sign before them. I know now a lot of people just send their documents via courier for signing, but again,
Mm-hmm.
these has inherent risks. So what we did at Unawa is we made sure that there are a lot of measures to really guarantee the authenticity of a signature. So one, when you create your Unawa account, which by the way is free, we
Correct.
wanted to make sure that when people are requested to sign during our platform, they're
I
not
signed up.
hindered by a thank you. They're not hindered. Let's have the team upgrade your account for having us here.
Oh,
But we have to make
thank you.
sure, yeah, of course. We have to make sure that there are methods that will ensure one, the identity, ensure the consent, and finally ensure the veracity and the authenticity of the document. As we discussed earlier, we are now in the digital space, and as I'm sure you know, with your editing and other people know, once a document is digitized and digital, it's easy to forge, right?
Correct.
You and I can have a contract. We send that out. We accidentally CC someone to the email. They'll have our agreement. It's digital. A very unfortunately, this happens. A skilled person in Photoshop can change the principal amount. They can change the consideration. And then because it's digital, because you technically didn't have a witness seeing you sign that document, should that ever be called into question, it's harder to prove with these shortcut methods of signing. But with our platform, we make sure everything's in order. One, again, your registered account attaches to your identity. Two, the document, we put some security measures into the document, one being a digital manifest, meaning it will say who signed it, from where they signed it, at what time they signed it, and with what account. And finally, when everything is signed, our platform incorporates a QR code onto the document, specifically to avoid situations we have been discussing, meaning the digital version is available. Should I share that via email? Should I print it out? The QR code will be on that document. If I have any doubts as to the veracity of the document, all I have to do is scan the QR code. That QR code will pull up the original document from our platform, and then you can one do a visual side by side comparison.
Yeah.
If the physical document you're holding has any error, any changes, 100% you know that's not the agreement that was signed. Or worse, the more creative types will just put any QR code. You scan the QR code and it doesn't pull up anything. 100%
Yeah.
look question that document. So those are the things we're trying to put into play.